Okay. Hello, if anybody is there. The broadcast has begun. Let me just get set up here to see if anybody's in there. If you're here, can you put a message into the chat?
Okay. Hello, if anybody is there.
There's some
The broadcast has
happening.
begun.
Why? Okay. Let me bring this music back on. Okay. I'm trying to play some music in the background while I... Oh, okay, Marley's here. Now, can you tell me if... do you hear the music? One thing, is it too loud? And if there's any weird feedback for the audio, I think it should be fine though. Let me pull up. Okay, thumbs up from Ben J. Everything is good, hooray. Okay. Alright, I'm not gonna mess with anything else here. Tammy Navoni, hi! Thank you for saying hi, so that I know you are here. I'm gonna just wait a couple more minutes before I start talking about what we're going to be doing today, because I know there's a few more people who are subscribed and have the link to this, so I just want to give it a second until they're in. But whenever they do come in, please say hi, because I don't have the live stream up on YouTube itself to see the amount of viewers. I can't see the viewers from this streaming app. Okay, let's just check this. Five watching now. Okay. There it is. All right, we're gonna get started now. Let's bring everything back up here. Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to the second live stream, and I'm now in my new apartment. Woo! Here in Leicester. Everything's all set up. I am extremely happy and relieved to finally have a place to call my own and a place to do some work and some self-care and get a lot done and just start this new chapter of my life that I've been waiting for a long time. And we've heard me say that 100,000 times, and now it's finally here. Now I can stop saying that I'm waiting. So now it's here, and I have some new lights here, so hopefully you can see my face. Hopefully not too nicely to see the wrinkles, but enough that it looks more like a professional stream that you're watching. I have a little stand for my iPad. The computer's all set up. It's much more streamlined than before, so I'm feeling good about this. And today's art is chosen by one of the Patreon supporters who's at the top tier, and so they get to pick an artwork that I do once a month. So last month was a little bit crazy. I didn't have a place to actually do the live stream, or else I would have done this. So they picked this art for me to draw, which is something that I saw at the Met when I was in New York. And I really loved it. And, it was also something that this person felt very drawn to and connected to. So I'm excited and happy to draw this. And I also have a little mini history lesson prepared to tell you about this object and the interesting person that it portrays. After that, I'm going to open it up to you to ask any questions that you have about what's going on, or anything you want at all right now. And then after that, or if there's not that many questions, I will just talk and tell you about my life like I did last time. So this will probably go for another 45 minutes to an hour, depending. We'll see. So let's get into it. So I have already done a slight preliminary sketch here, because last time I feel like I didn't get enough of the drawing actually done. And this part where I'm like getting the proportions set up is always the most difficult and probably frustrating and stressful part of drawing for me. Like the starting is difficult, and you're messing with it and erasing and trying it. So I went to a cafe today and got a nice mocha and sat down and just kind of did this sketch very quickly so I could have something to start from. And also I think it's just more entertaining to see when someone's like putting in the details and you start to actually see the drawing look like the thing it is supposed to be, instead of this kind of like the beginning phase of it, the ugly phase of it. It's kind of true. It's something that when I worked at Apple, I had to deal with a lot of that, like conscious feeling of like, or self-conscious feeling that people are seeing the artwork when it's kind of like in the beginning phases where it doesn't look so pretty. But anyway, so I have the drawing kind of already written out, and I want to tell you about this person. So I was drawn to this object because this is the full object here. She was coming out of what looks like a dragon, and a woman and a dragon. I'm drawn to this immediately. And then her face and the fine details and her hair and the outfit, I thought were just very beautiful. Like her face is very kind of, medieval looking, sort of chunky cherub face. She's very cute to me, but she looks very sad at the same time. So I wondered what her story was. Why does she look so sad? Why is this woman coming out of a dragon? Let's see if this video will play. I'm not sure if it will. Maybe it will. Let's see. It's loading. While that's loading, I'm gonna get this. Yeah, here we go. Ready. This was the first day that I had the iPhone 14 Pro also and took it to the museum. So I was very excited to use the cinematic mode on this. So that allows me to get this depth of field. So it's focused on the dragon first, and then the focus kind of moves up to her body and her head. And it shows the details so much better, and it makes everything so much more interesting than just like a flat photo. And it also has the crazy zoom on it, so I'm able to get this close-up of her even though she's in this glass case. So let me tell you about this person. Her name is St Margaret of Antioch, and she has a crazy legend. It has many elements of a great story. So she's got supernatural powers, she survived torture, she kills dragons and demons, and she defies the will of men. So there's a feminist angle to it. And she even has a connection to the famous Joan of Arc. So very interesting character just to begin with. So I wrote this out kind of from a feminist perspective. So I wanted to look at her story and what it showed about like the female character and women's struggles then, and what, like, there is of course some Christian propaganda in her story that you'll hear and no doubt be able to pick out. But overall, I think her legend is really interesting, and the way that people remember her now, specifically women, the way that they remember her now, I think is also very cool that her story has endured for so long. So here we go. From a feminist perspective, the story of St. Margaret of Antioch sheds light on a woman of remarkable strength and conviction during a time when women's voices were often silenced. Her journey is one of resilience and defiance against societal norms that sought to control her. And like I said before, it's laced with Christian propaganda. So we have some feminist power and Christian propaganda side by side. So, like I said before, she was born in Antioch, Turkey, to a pagan priest. So her father was a pagan priest. But she converted to Christianity because she had exposure to it through her nurse, Theotimus, I think is her name. She decided, after learning about Christianity, having this bond with this nurse, that she was going to consecrate her virginity to God. So I don't think they had nuns yet back then, maybe they did, but they had lots of virgins who said, Christ, God is my husband, so I'm not going to have sex with any men. So this is, it's an act of autonomy over her body, but it led her to be estranged from her father. He disowned her. So her nurse, Theotimus, then embraced her as a daughter. And this story is kind of emphasizing the importance of female bonds in Margaret's life. So Margaret is a Christian. She's with this nurse, but she's so beautiful that she caught the attention of a Roman prefect. So he wanted to possess her. He saw her and said, I want you to be my wife and I want to sleep with you. And she resisted his advances, of course, and so he had her brought to trial for being a Christian. And so she was threatened with torture and death unless she renounced her faith. And of course, like a good Christian, she's not going to renounce her faith. So she refused, and so the Roman officials then decided time for torture. So they first tried to burn her, but she was left untouched by the flames. She was then bound hand and foot and thrown into a cauldron of boiling water. But once again, she remained unhurt. At one point, she is even swallowed by Satan in the form of a demon, as a dragon. So this is Satan here. Satan in the form of a dragon swallowed Margaret whole. But she, you see, is emerging from the dragon here because there's two things people say. She made the cross symbol while she was inside of the dragon, or maybe she had a necklace of the cross and it irritated the dragon and she was able to get out of it that way. In different regions, there's a dragon, and then in other regions, the devil appears as a demon in her holding cell, and she beats the demon with a hammer. So she's fighting physically in these stories here. Then let's see, what else have we got here? So even in the face of brutal torture and attempts to end her life, Margaret's faith remained unshaken. Her miraculous escapes from fire and boiling water symbolize her defiance, once again, of societal expectations and the supernatural strength she drew from her beliefs. So her story is very interesting because she became a patron saint later of expectant mothers, nurses, and women in childbirth, and she's still venerated in celebrations around the world. So her people pray to her for safe deliveries and coming to help them if there's any kind of demonic problems. They will invoke her since she's had experience fighting demons and Satan. She just has this enduring legacy as a protector of women. And even so, back to Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc claimed that this saint and St. Catherine spoke to her and provided her guidance. I think she said it was Michael told her that these two female saints were going to talk to her and guide her. So St. Margaret was one of them. So despite what she has faced, St. Margaret serves as a testament to the power of female resilience and autonomy. So she's a pretty inspirational figure who defied the constraints of her time, and was a martyr. And her father being a pagan, and her kind of moving away from that, it's a story that gives you a lot of ways to be a good Christian by following what she has done. So that's what we're drawing today. Saint Margaret. Oh, this object, what's it made of? Oh, I can't remember what it's made of. I should have written this down. What the object is made of. It looks like it's made of ivory, but I don't think it is. It's fairly large. No, it's not ivory. It's like a white polished wood. She's missing her arms, so she has no arms. So we're going to draw her without arms. I'm going to just kind of like imagine the cloak is covering her body a bit more, so we don't have to worry about our arms there. Okay, so that is the history of Saint Margaret of Antioch. Now if you ever see a woman coming out of a dragon or fighting a dragon in a church and in some stained glass or something somewhere, now you know who she is. So I'm gonna start drawing on her face. Yeah, her face and her hair here in a minute. And then if you guys have any questions, go ahead and put it into the chat while I get started on this, and then we will see what you have to say. Okay, let's do, what do I want to do? I want to do her eyes and her eyebrow. Okay, Marley says, wait, what does this say? Marley says, what are you most excited about for the first year? And then Ben says, tell us about your mug. My mug? What mug? What are you talking about? Mug? Explain what you mean by mug. I don't know what you mean. Okay, Marley says, what are you most excited about for the first year? Many things. The first thing, my cup. Oh, this cup? Oh, okay. Oh, Grandma Kathy wants to know, how did St. Margaret die? Let me answer that question really quick. So in the end, you're so sharp. I did leave that part out, maybe on purpose. In the end, she was decapitated. So you can't escape miraculously from that. That was the final thing. And some of the other stuff that I read say that most people, even a long time ago, looked at her story as being legendary because of the dragon being involved. And now, even biblical scholars and people who maybe have more faith think that the story is mostly a legend and not actually true. But perhaps there actually was a St. Margaret, but maybe not a dragon. But yeah, she got her head chopped off, unfortunately. And quickly to tell you about my cup, this is, where did I get this from? I think I might have gotten it from a thrift store or something in Portland, but I had a whole set. There was a whole set of these, but it's kind of like, it's got the Greek, wait, here we go. Let's see. Oh, can I identify anybody on here? There's like a shepherd, a man with like a shepherd, some women outside. It's kind of like generic Greek people. Is it focused? Oh, that's cool. Yeah. And I think, Ben, you know what the name of this style is. This kind of like blue and white design that was popular in like neoclassical revival, where in the, what is it? The 1800s, people got really excited about ancient Greece and tried to make like reproductions, and it was very popular amongst the wealthy folk to have these kind of blue and white things. It's very iconic. I don't know what the name is. You can put it in the chat if you know and tell me what it is. Okay, let's get back to this question. I'll answer the question, what are you most excited about for the first year? As I start drawing this. I'm excited to make friends. I'm really excited. Jasperware. Thank you, Ben. Jasperware, that's what the name of it is. I'm very excited to make friends. Yeah. I want to make friends who are in the same boat as me and who are in the same, you know, maybe studying the same stuff. Is that the right pencil I want to use? Definitely studying the same stuff would be nice. Just people who are into archaeology and museums and who are doing PhDs and trying to do something more with themselves, and that are here physically so I can have people to actually hang out with will be nice. When I went back to America this last time, it was just, you know, anytime you leave your hometown and then you come back, people change, you change. Some people stay the same, you change. Your bonds can sometimes just pick right back up where you left off, and it'll be like nothing happened. And it was like that with a couple of my friends, where, you know, we were able to just be like very natural and comfortable with each other. But then with other people, it felt like, you know, we had drifted apart quite a bit. Her eyes are so droopy. She's extremely sad. So I'm looking forward to making new friends, like-minded people, new friends. I want to surround myself with people who are, oh my gosh, doing like the same thing that I'm doing, so that I can get even more motivated by other people. I'm excited to just see what the program like even entails, because I had messaged the supervising team about conferences, and you know, I thought maybe I should plan out some conferences that I want to go to. And okay. Her eyes look so silly. I don't like this pencil. So I thought I should plan out some conferences to go to. You know, try to find a way to spend this money that they are going to give me that is for training. This is a bit better. And then they replied back and said, don't spend the money yet, because we have what was it? It was like a research training summer camp scheduled that you were invited to. And we did it last year, and it's in Italy, and what's called action research. That's the type of research I'm going to be doing, action research, where you're not just doing research in a vacuum that has no impact on the world, or you're doing it by yourself. You know, this type of research, especially here at Leicester, it seems like I've walked around the campus and they have this stuff everywhere. It seems like they are most focused on doing research that actually has an impact in the world, and which is why I chose this PhD. So I'm excited about that, about getting involved with a school and with people who have this kind of mindset of like, let's actually do something important. You know, I really love my topic that I did in my master's on the figurines. But I had this feeling like I shouldn't do that as my PhD because it felt too like self-serving. Like, oh yeah, I would have fun. I would have so much fun doing research on ISIS figurines and you know, maybe it could have some impact on like how these figurines are thought of. I'm just gonna go, okay, I'm gonna just stop thinking. I'm just gonna do this however I want. Maybe it would have it's just so angry. Maybe it would have some influence on like how these figurines are interpreted within museums. Oh my god, I hate this pencil. I'm striking out. I should have practiced beforehand. But I didn't think it would, like, I didn't think that my topic of those figurines would have any kind of like real world, okay, this is a bit better, real world impact. And I think that my like overarching like greater goals in life have always been to like teach people and get people really excited about culture and heritage and spread that information. So I've been doing that even before social media, like posting pictures that I took on Flickr and making my own like museum database like long time ago, posting things on Tumblr and trying to write what I thought about that because I wanted to get other people excited about heritage and about culture. That was always something that was always like the core. And this PhD allows me to do that. The underlying theme there is making culture more accessible to people. And so if you like, there's different like layers of interest, I think, that people have, and then there's also barriers to getting people to like interact with culture. So like maybe you're really into it, you just go to museums all the time, or you like it but museums are just like boring to you, or you can't, it's like not easy for you to interface with the museum itself, so there's something that's like missing there, or you are disabled or deaf or have some kind of difference with how you experience the world and you can't even like get to the museum, or when you do get there nothing like works for you when it comes to that interfacing with the art or with like the info or the gallery itself. So I think this is my way, this is going to be like my way of getting more people to experience culture just overall and heritage overall. So that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited about doing something that feels like it has like a genuine, like it's going to make a genuine difference in people's lives. Because when we do stuff with like accessibility, we put a ramp in somewhere, or we like make a space more friendly to wheelchairs or to people who are blind, we put braille all over the place, that kind of stuff. Like people, it just makes such a difference in people's lives. Or like having hours where like someone who has neurodivergency can come and just like be as loud as they want, or they need something more quiet, something like that. Having those experiences. I've met some people, okay, yeah, that's good, who in the museum world who have kids and people who have like disabilities, and they talk about how much of a difference it just makes in their lives to have a museum actually have some kind of offering that appeals to them and their family. And so I want to be a part of that kind of stuff. And the guy who is my supervisor, he had one video that he posted where he made this project where it was called aural diversity. So like for your hearing, there's like your hearing is different. It was a music performance that he put on with a bunch of other musicians who were maybe like partially deaf or had some neurodivergence. And he himself is also autistic and has tinnitus, and he's a musician. And he put on this show where he had all these different ways for people to interface with the music. They could put on Bluetooth headphones and walk around in the field. Maybe I spoke about this before, but it was just a project that all these the people who were involved and who experienced it were just so happy. And even people who didn't have any hearing difference, enjoyed the experience and were able to experience music in a new way because of it. So I think that this guy who's leading the project has like he's like on something like very good. And there's a lot of people involved in his network. He has a whole network called Aural Diversity Network. And it's just all these people who are coming together and trying to work on making the world like a more accessible place, just in all realms, heritage, environmental, like cityscapes, all this kind of stuff. So it's exciting. Sometimes I do feel a little bit like, I wish that I had gone for something more involved with material objects, because that's my passion, but I think that there will be opportunities for me to still involve that, but we'll see. So I'm excited for the research, getting started on that, and actually like seeing what kind of difference I can make. Yeah. Okay. I think friends doing some good for the world. What else? Anything else? I'm excited for getting a little bit healthier and just having some more peace in my life, because I've been very nomadic and like having a lot of headaches and migraines and not feeling like any place is like my home pretty much since leaving Korea. So this, kind of feeling a little bit more like I have a real like home base here that's like my own. I am extremely excited about that. And there's a gym, and I'm already going to it every morning and doing Pilates and using all the equipment, so I'm gonna get really strong. Let's see, Grandma says. Another question. Will you be able to walk to the university, or will you have to take a bus? So I'll be able to walk. I chose a place that is just only about a 15-minute walk to the library that I'm going to be working in, where my office is going to be. So this whole city, Leicester itself, it's a pedestrian city. The main areas where everybody walks and shops and like restaurants and things there's no cars there. It's like the cars kind of like circle around, and there's no buses really either. So like I needed to get to the other side of town. It's about a 25 minute walk. There isn't a bus, so I had to walk. So I'll be burning some calories here, walking quite a bit, but it's all flat, so it's all right. And there's two buildings that I will be in the most. There's a museum studies building, and then there's this new library that actually has a dedicated center for digital culture studies. So this is something that one of the supervisors founded, was this Institute for Digital Culture, and they like have their own room, their own office in the university. So that's where I'm going to be working, and it's right at the front of the library, so right by like all the glass and everything. I'm very excited about that. It's like in the center of the university. And then the museum studies building is just like 1 block away from here, so it's 2 minutes just down the road. And I'm in such a really pretty like green area that's like old Georgian architecture and Victorian buildings and things. So even though I have to walk, it's very beautiful and I don't mind it at all. Okay. How's the new place been for your health? It sounds like it's a healthy city. So it is. It is a very healthy city. The water here tastes amazing. The water in my London apartment tasted like crap in comparison. I guess England there's a lot of salt and lime like in the bedrock. So, and a lot of the buildings have extremely old pipes. So in the apartment in London, it just tasted so awful. The water here tastes like bottled water. It's amazing. But my migraines are holding. It's been about 8 days since my last one. And I've discovered that they are like extremely linked to stress. And so as soon as I become stressed, my shoulders go like this. And then this tension here just creates basically like the perfect recipe for a migraine. And then it's usually triggered by some bright light or looking at screens too much. So yeah, I was getting them quite a bit in London, and then I got them a ton while I was in America, and I have not had any since being here. So I'm very happy about that. And I set up a schedule. So I wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning and I have something small to eat, and then I go down to the gym because my spine hurts so bad. My back hurts so bad when I wake up in the morning. I think I sleep like a little pretzel or something, and my back hurts really bad. So I get up and I go downstairs and I do Pilates. I was doing yoga a lot, but it wasn't doing anything. Like the stretching just like was not doing anything at all. So I realized I need to get my muscles stronger to hold up my body. So I started doing Pilates in the morning, and then I run on the treadmill. So when I was running in London, I was getting migraines because running, I did not know this, but running also makes you like tense up your upper body naturally. So I was getting migraines during running and then like right after running, and I couldn't figure out like why it was happening, but now I know. So I'm trying to do it in like controlled bursts here, where I'm doing it just for about 10 minutes instead of trying to go for like 20 minutes or like a really long distance, or dealing with like cars and things that can possibly trigger like the light part of my migraines. It's great. And then in the middle of the day, after I make my lunch and have my lunch, I go for a walk, or I just go stand out in the garden out there, like the front park that's right out there. And if it's wonderful. It's just wonderful. I called, finally am able to get some doctor's appointments going. So I spoke with a bunch of doctors this morning, and I'm actually going in tomorrow morning to have my back examined because the back pain is very bad, and the neck pain and the muscles and all this kind of stuff. It's like all connected. So they said, well, you should come in. So I'm going to go in tomorrow and have an exam. I would like an x-ray because when I was younger they told me that I had some scoliosis. So I'm thinking maybe there's something with that, and that my cervical spine, this part of me, my neck basically is like straightening out, and so that can cause like some compression with the vertebra. So I'm gonna get all of that checked out, and then the week after that I have a call about my mental health, and because my anxiety still like spikes up every once in a while. It's just like this, it's just a feeling, like a physical feeling, and attacks my stomach, my breathing, my shoulders, my migraines, like all of this. So they're like, okay, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna call you, and we're getting your prescriptions, and we're gonna talk about different medications and things and therapy and all that. So it's finally getting taken care of. I'm like, that's a big relief. For like weeks, I have been rehearsing in my head, what I was gonna say to the doctors, and let me know if you do this too, where before you go to the doctors, you're like, okay, here's my problem, blah, blah, blah. You like rehearse in your head what you're gonna say, because you want to be heard, and it's just very difficult to get doctors, I feel like, to listen to you, because they're just so busy. And yeah, so now I don't have to do that anymore. We're like halfway there now, so that's good. Let's see here. Another question. Where was her statue found? You know what? Let me pull up. I know I have the picture of the info card for it. I'm just going to pull it up. I should have done this before. I'll get that. Well, I take a little break. I don't know how this is coming. It's in the ugly stage, okay? Don't judge it. It's not looking pretty, but I promise you at the end it will. Okay, here are my museum pictures. Let's see, where's the little panel, info panel for it. Okay, so some more background information on this figurine. It's French, and it is from 1475. So it says it's an outstanding example of the Languedoc style. I've never heard of that. It's very cool. Languedoc style of the late 15th century, which was centered in medieval Toulouse in France. This work is remarkable for the contrast of the idealism and delicacy of the figure set against the scaly and coarse textures of the lizard-turned-dragon at the base of the composition. So it says it was, okay, it's made of alabaster. That's what it's made of. Alabaster with traces of gilding. And it was a gift in 2000. So someone had it in their personal collection. Yeah, it just says gift of Anthony and Lois Blumka in memory of Ruth Blumka in year 2000. Wait, is there more provenience? Someone had it in Paris until 1906. Yeah, it looks like it was in Paris up until the 1960s, and then the people who gave it to the Met, yeah, they got it in the 60s, and they were in New York. They had it just for 5 years, 1995 to 2000. So we don't, I think it was just, it probably wasn't actually found. I mean, maybe it was found in a grave or something like that, but sometimes these kind of things just are passed down through generations. People just keep them. Yeah, there's no telling where this is from. Some rich people had it, and they gave it to the Met. Good question, though. Now we know more. Okay, let's bring this back. Marley says, I do that with doctor's appointments at times. Yeah, that's anxiety. That is anxiety going, wah! Where you just rehearse conversations that you're going to have with people, or with, doctors, like, or just like anything that is important that is happening in your life. You go over it in your head endlessly. But I'm trying to not do that as much. I'm trying to like calm myself and go, we'll be able to do it when we get there. We don't have to rehearse it right now. Oh, yeah. Oh, that looks good. Okay. This other side was like very wonky because the angle that the iPad is at is kind of difficult to like get a smooth line going, but I like that line. How is everybody else doing? What are you guys doing? What's everyone doing right now? I know that I think one person said that she would be on her lunch break right now. Are you watching me on your lunch break right now? That would be cool. Are you at work? Are you driving? Better not be driving. Grandma, no more driving while you're watching my live streams. That's dangerous, okay? Tell me what you're doing in the comments. I would like to know. Yeah, let's see what my watchers are up to right now as I add some more streams of hair. Okay, I like this. This is getting more fun now. Oh, it's already 8:47. Her hair. What does her hair remind you guys of? I want to hear what her hair reminds you of too, and then I'll tell you if it's the same thing that I'm thinking of when I look at the shape of her hair. Oh, I see out of the corner of my eye some comments. Oh no! I undid it. Go back. Oh, okay. No, dang it! My hand keeps undoing it. There we go. Oh, okay. Not driving. Sitting. Grandma says she's sitting at home on my computer. Grandpa's listening too. Hi, Grandpa. I hope you're doing well. Good morning. I miss you guys and I love you. Marley, but you drawing while I work feels like the old Apple days. Yeah, it does. You know, I have fond memories of that place, even though it stressed me out really badly towards the end there. It gave me this. I wasn't really drawing before the iPads came out. I kind of stopped for a long time. And then this just reinvigorated it. I should draw more though. It's very therapeutic for me. Now that I'm here, I'll dedicate more time to it. I've just been very focused on creating reels because that content is just like, and it's something that I see is like in the long run gonna help me out a lot, but it's pretty exhausting. Sometimes it's not always fun too, because you have to do it every single day, and like sometimes I work really hard on a reel. Like today, the reel that I made took me almost an hour because I have to research and I have to write the captions, try to come up with like a hook. And it's just very tricky and it's a lot of work, and you know, and if something doesn't do well after you've spent that much time on it, it's a bit demoralizing. There was like a few times where I had done like 5 reels in a row and they didn't get more than just like a couple hundred views. I was like, that's really disappointing. Especially when it's like, oh, I really liked this and I had fun making this, you know? But then I know, oh, I didn't do like the tricks that you need to do to get your reel to have a lot of views. You can't just like make whatever you want. You have to use like marketing psychology, and you have to follow like how the app works and what works on it and all this kind of like stuff that the artist in me like wants to rebel against it and go, I don't want to do that. But ultimately I have to if I want people to watch the content and pay attention to it, and if I want my account to grow, so I have to do it. But it has like, yeah, it's definitely turned into like work. So I spend a lot of time doing that, almost, yeah, every day. And I haven't had enough time, I think, recently to just do like fun stuff. So I'm gonna make a little bit more time for doing fun stuff before the PhD starts, which is only just a week and a half away. Any other questions that you guys have? I think if there's like anything else that I want to talk about. Look at the difference here. Okay, no one said what they think her hair looks like. Come on, guys, what's her hair look like? Look at that. Does it make you hungry when you look at this hair? What's her hair look like? Okay. We'll come back to what her hair looks like. Marley asked another question. Thank you, Marley, for all these questions. Have you been working on any... Oh, he got it. Her hair looks like ramen noodles. It does. Thank you. I know it's silly, but the more I draw it, it's like ramen. Yeah, her hair looks like little ramen noodles. That's cute. Okay, other question. Have you been working on any non-real, non-school art just for yourself? I've just been reading a book. I have not been making any artwork, and saying that makes me realize I need to, because it's such a form of expression for me, and fun and experimentation. And maybe I'll just do that. I'll share it still on my Patreon, because that's part of one of my tiers, the art tier. I do need to do it just at least for that, but I need to do some stuff just for fun, because it's a little bit like demoralizing, or like makes me feel like, oh, this kind of sucks that I'm drawing right now, and I feel like my hand isn't cooperating as well as it had in the past. I'm not as used to drawing on the iPad or just drawing in general, because I haven't been doing it. But I can't do everything. I'm doing a lot of things right now. I'm trying to do research. I'm trying to like prepare for PhD and network and like think big picture and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to beat myself up for not doing art, but I should do it as just like a fun thing that is not something I need to commodify or just like mark off on my checklist. This is the book I'm reading. I don't know how you say this name. Keiki? Keiki. This is one of the historical retelling fiction books that a friend of mine, Hannah, recommended to me. And it is like another retelling of the Indian Ramayana. So that is like one of their foundational stories. And it's from a woman's perspective, from one of the mothers in the story. This book is extremely long. I did not realize it's huge. It's a thick book, but it's like thick. The book is like 500 pages, literally. So I am on about page 400 right now, and I've been reading this book for like weeks, and I want to be done. I'm getting close to the end. I want to be done. And then the next book I'm reading, so I guess this is kind of like my fun thing, because yeah, I don't take pictures of it. I don't talk about it. This is just my fun. This is the next book, Song of Achilles, that I'm going to read, that I've been recommended. It's the story of Achilles and Patroclus from the Iliad, and it's apparently very gay. And it's a love story. So I'm excited, and my friend said it's really sad. I mean, we all know, if you know what happens in the Iliad, it's very sad what happens to both of those people, and specifically Patroclus and how Achilles reacts to it. And all the little reviews on the back are really funny. Brims with rugged sexuality. A part coming of age story, part coming out, and part Hollywood blockbuster. So that sounds exciting to me. An exciting, sexy, violent Superman version of the Iliad. did she want to read this now too? Yeah, so reading books has kind of just been the thing that I'm doing on the side, which isn't something that I did really at all for a while. And I've read like 6 or 7 books just over the summer, which is like the most books I've read for fun probably since I was a teenager. So that's actually pretty nice. I like that. But it is almost 9 o'clock, so I'm probably going to cut things off here. Yeah. So it's very difficult for me to draw while I am on a live stream with you guys. There's like the pressure and I'm trying to talk, but I'll get better at it. And I'll practice. I am going to keep working on this drawing so I can get my hand like more trained back to what it was before, so that I can draw more with ease. And then I think I also just feel weird that I'm like looking here and I'm not looking at you while I'm talking, that I'm like too focused. But if that's okay, if like you don't mind that I'm like doing that, I can probably get more done. But it's almost like I feel like, oh, am I like being rude by not looking at you guys enough? Because I could just sit here and look at this the entire time but never look at the camera. So afterwards we can talk. If you have some feedback for me about that, about this whole like drawing side of it and just like how this went. But it was nice to do, and I hope you like the lights and the setup. And if we look at her from far away, not so bad. but she'll look better. I'll update you guys on Patreon after I get like the base sketch down and kind of decide more like where I'm going with this. But thank you for joining. This was fun. And Grandma says thank you for all the info on Margaret. Yeah, thanks for choosing this figurine. It was fun to take pictures of her and learn more about her. I had no idea about this history behind this legendary woman, and I'm all about those legendary women. So that's it. Okay, thank you for coming, and I appreciate all of you again for all of your support. Now we're going into the 3rd month, just about to start PhD things. I'll definitely do this again next month. It'll be fine because I'll be all set up, and we'll have another new drawing. We'll have more things to talk about, and it's gonna be good. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.